Good morning and welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, today we are talking with one of our community partners. You know, when we talk about all in and what that means, it really is everyone having a role.
Absolutely, Shonda. We absolutely have to have, if we're going to fight crime in an effective way, it's got to involve the entire community, and particularly those persons in our community who are engaged with the youth of our community. Unfortunately, much of our crime based on the anatomy of homicide report tells us that kids from that age, about 14 up to about 21 or so, are going to be involved in many instances involved in crime. And to address that problem, it's going to take all of us in our community kind of working together, as you just talked about, being all in to deal with the social issues as well as the criminal issues that take place in our community. And I'm happy today to have a guest who understands those dynamics better than most.
Yeah, we're going to be talking with Dr. Willie Williams. He's a local social worker, does a lot of work in our community, and really came to us with a really creative idea on how we might be able to reach the youth who are really at high risk for having activity with gun violence.
Yeah, Dr. Williams has spent a great deal of his career working with the youth of our community and understands their issues and our issues perhaps better than most. So it's going to be, I think, enlightening for some of our viewers to see and to hear what Dr. Williams has to say about how we can help the youth of our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about these connections with different organizations in our community, this is one of those opportunities where we're really trying to forge relationships between law enforcement and that really vulnerable population.
Yeah, absolutely. Historically, there's been a give and take, you might say. There's been things we've tried that failed. And obviously, it's a space we've got to get in and be successful. And I hope that with the guidance of people like Dr. Williams and others in our community, we can, for the first time, actually address those issues in a way that has lasting impact.
Yeah, because when we talk about the anatomy of a homicide report, that 5-year study over 5 years of homicides really helped us identify the population vulnerable for that. And a lot of it is, you know, youth who've been kicked out of school or suspended. And so we know exactly the audience we're trying to reach with this.
Oh, absolutely. To add to that, many of these young men coming from situations where the father's not present, and the mom's trying to do as much as she can to address and help that young person get through life, and they'll need help. And that's where organizations like ours, the Status of Men and Boys, and other organizations in our community come in.
Yeah, we really want our viewers to stick around for this show because we're talking about one of those innovative ways to reach our youth out there, and we'll give them a hint on how to do it, hooping it up. A little hoop.
That's a good hint.
All right, so be sure to stick around, everyone. We've got more details coming up after the break.
Good morning, I'm Deputy Davis Clark with Leon County Sheriff's Office School Resource Unit, here with your Safety Tip Tuesday.
If you plan on going to the beach during this spring break, follow these tips to stay safe. Be sure to read and know what the different beach flags mean. A sunburn can happen fast at the beach. Protect yourself from the harmful rays of the sun by wearing sunscreen, sunglasses, and a hat. Remember to bring and drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. Always be sure to swim in front of a lifeguard and in water that is waist deep or less. Be aware of rip current conditions, do not enter unsafe waters, and know how to escape a rip current should you find yourself caught in one. If you can hear thunder, see lightning, or if a storm is approaching, get out of the water and get off the beach.
And that's your safety tip. Have a great day.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
When I left the academy, my training never stopped.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
You can make a lot of money at a very young age.
Starting pay is $50,000 a year with amazing benefits.
Firearms, taser, driving training.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
They're going to sponsor you through the academy and pay you while you're there.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountyso.com.
In times of stress such as quarantine, what goes on behind closed doors can be terrifying, but you don't have to suffer in silence. Help is here. Love is not controlling, love is not frightening, and love is not violent. Love is respect. If you need assistance or just want to talk, we are here. In Florida, call the Domestic Abuse Hotline at 800-500-1119 to speak to someone in your area, Or for more information, email the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council at dvcctally@gmail.com.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Dr. Willie Williams. Dr. Williams, tell us about your program.
My program, WillPower Innovation Network, was pretty much started because of the work my wife and I have done with a lot of the state institutions. You know, my background dealing with youth go way back. It's almost been 20 years. I've worked with the Department of Children and Families, and then from there I worked with the city of Tallahassee running the youth employment program, Tallahassee Future Leaders Academy.
Remember that, yes.
Yeah, employed almost 200 plus youth this summer. And then from there I was a director of Pay Center for Girls, and now I'm currently at the university. So I've always been invested in our youth and in ways to try to empower them and build the next generation of leaders.
Yeah, you also have served on the advisory council for Leon County Schools.
Yes.
Talk about that. What do you do? What did you do there, and how does it impact the kids of our community?
And so that this is my second school term serving with the District Advisory Council, and it's a two-way street. Of course, there's other people there. I happen to serve at the will and pleasure of school board member Darrell Jones, who I'm deliciously proud to say is my good friend, right? And so he appointed me to that position, and we serve with a whole magnitude of people. And some of the best things that come out of that is we're able to kind of give some feedback on policies and things that the school board might want to implement, like security for the different schools, and kind of give them a secondary opinion on how things should go. Many of the other members are parents as well at the other schools, and they represent those schools, so they're able to bring to the administration some of the issues and problems that they're dealing with at those schools. So it's a two-way street of communication where we can keep things moving between the school district.
Okay. Now, Dr. Williams, you're a college professor. You're a social worker. So what kind of advice would you give us in terms of how can we more effectively impact or engage with these youth of our community?
And so what I've realized with our youth, what we have to understand, and particularly some of our more disadvantaged youth, our black males whose really this program is geared toward, when we look at the fact that when it comes to causes of death, black males are ranked number 1 and 3 when it comes to homicide and suicide respectively as causes of death. That's something significant. And so we have to figure out how do we start to address those issues. And so one of the key challenges for our youth nowadays, and this is me watching them transition from teenagers into young adults, is they're trying to figure out who they are, and they're trying to find out where they belong. And a lot of those questions can be answered with the simple fact of building a social system around you, a social network around you, people that can help guide you along the way, and really just fill in that gap of information and communication.
You know, one of the major problems we have is, I talked about previously, is fathers not being in homes and those situations. For parents out there,
yes,
what kind of advice would you give them who are struggling with kids, with youth in their home?
Connect, connect, connect.
Okay.
And so that comes back to what I just initially said. Our youth are struggling with trying to build a social system, a social network around them. And I think as parents, one of the things that we can do to help them out, you know, they'll always look at us as mom and as dad, and that's great. But in today's society, what we're realizing is that these youth need more than mom and dad. There are some things that they're coming up against that we didn't have to worry about when we were coming up. And so the more people we can connect them to, the more networks, the more safety circles we can put around them, the better off they'll be when they're not with us. And I think that's one of the key things I would tell the parents. Involve them in those organizations, connect them with the church, get them mentors, show them how to build a network, because we know at the end of the day, network equals net worth.
Now, you just mentioned mentorships. Talk about that more. How impactful is those mentorships out there in our community for these kids?
I tell you, I'm a product of mentorship. I was down that road. I couldn't tell you how many times I've been suspended, expelled, put out of school, traveling with my stepfather who was military, and it was a mentor who got me on the right track. And so I wish Facebook was open back then. There's a few teachers I like to reach out to and let them know I have a PhD now, so it worked out quite well, right? But mentoring is so important. It's part of that social network that we're building, where we're putting that guide, that candle in the dark right in front of the person to help them find their way and how to maneuver and navigate this thing we call life. And mentors is something that I encourage even adults to get, so that we can all just have, once again, that support system around us to get us through times of challenge and times of issues.
Well, I know that for 100 Black Men and other organizations like that are doing a good job of mentoring in our community, and I want to commend them and yourself. Thanks, Dr. Williams. Still ahead, encouraging teens to put down the weapons and battle it out on the basketball courts. Details after the break.
The Leon County Sheriff's Office is the proud recipient of the 2023 International Association of Chiefs of Police SIMSI Leadership in Law Enforcement Research Award for their groundbreaking work on the anatomy of a homicide research project. This award recognizes law enforcement agencies that demonstrate excellence in conducting and using research to improve police operations and public safety. The Anatomy of a Homicide Research Project, a commitment to understanding crime, developing strategies based on evidence, and ultimately shaping a safer Leon County. Congratulations to Sheriff Walt McNeil and the dedicated team at the Leon County Sheriff's Office for setting the standard in law enforcement research.
We're back with local youth advocate Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams, you and other community partners teamed up with the LCSO for a big event. Tell us about the community event we're about to have.
Man, I tell you, Sheriff, I'm so excited about this event, myself as well as all the other community partners. And so I don't know if you've ever seen the shows or the basketball games that take place up north, where the community just comes out for a simple community basketball game. Well, what we want to do is take that same idea and bring it down to Tallahassee, where we have a community basketball game, and we bring the people out in the community out to just participate in that event. And it'll be taking place at Godby High School, April 13th, that's a Saturday, from 10 to 8 p.m. And of course, that 10 to about 6 p.m. is where we're doing eliminations for the basketball players, those participating in the basketball program. And then at 6 o'clock, we're going to transition to the championship game and some of the community festivities that will be taking place that night.
Okay, now you're calling this the Community Classic.
Yes.
Now what makes this Community Classic different from any other just local basketball game?
So I tell you, one of the things that make it different is that we're intentionally targeting those males that are in communities that are at higher risk for gun violence. That's one of the things that really makes it stand out. The second thing is that we're actually involving law enforcement in the team structure. So it has to be one law enforcement officer on each team. And then the third thing that makes it stand out, and they'll probably get a round of applause for the youth, is that there's actually cash prizes for the top teams. Okay. Yes, sir. Per player, cash prizes for the top team that wins that night.
Okay. Can I sign up?
You can be on one of the teams, Sheriff, indeed.
Well, thank you. But this event, what makes this event so important? I know you talked about the police being there and the kids being able to earn some money, right. But what's unique about this? What makes it so special?
And so we go back to the social structure and where we're still trying to build the networks, right? And so this is our opportunity to help youth find that law enforcement officer or that law enforcement personnel or that law enforcement friend to fill in their network, their social surrounding, to make that connection. And so that's really the main important part that we want to get out of this. We want to cover that gap. We want to bridge that gap and connect the youth and those young men with a law enforcement officer that they can know on a first name basis to start building a relationship with that community.
Okay. Now, Dr. Williams, one of the things that's important to us is that when we do something, there's some sustainability about it, yes. That there's some follow-up. Can you talk about what kind of follow-up we can expect from this basketball game?
Yes, and so that's definitely why we have so many of the community partners coming in, like Darian Davis with Link Up, 100 Black Men, Kez with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and that's one of the things we're going to do is get with them as well as Royal King with the status of counsel for the boys and men, and come up with how do we continue this conversation that starts on the basketball court and transition it into a classroom or to a conference room where we can continue the engagement with these young men that have participated in this event and make it ongoing and better build those relationships and foster positive relationships between those youth and our law enforcement officers.
Okay. I suspect that there are many businesses and other people in our community that would like to be a part of this. Yes. How can they engage and become involved with this classic we've got coming up?
Sponsorships. Sponsorships, donations, because we're looking at doing door prizes for those who want to attend that event and this really show up. We want to see you there. We want to pack the house, Sheriff. We don't want any space seen in the stands. We want to show those youth that not only do we support them, not only does law enforcement support them, but the community supports them. And so we want to pack the stand. We need sponsorships to make sure that everything happens as far as the jerseys. And we really want to acknowledge and celebrate these young people. So definitely sponsorships, showing up, and any kind of donations you can give as far as door prizes, we're greatly accepted.
So where can a viewer go that's watching here today? Where can they go to get that information about the game and the kids?
So you can go to the Leon County Sheriff Office website or any of their social media platforms, and we'll have information. You'll start seeing the flyers. We have radio ads already running on that, but the best link for communication is leoncountyso.com, and you'll be able to get any information you need from the Leon County Sheriff Office or any of their social media platforms.
Dr. Williams, thank you. Great job. I am so happy that you're engaged with us. I know we're going to make a difference. Up next, in our Deputy on Duty, a community cleanup that LCSO hopes to catch on. Stay tuned.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our member support. The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
Have you or someone you know been a victim of a crime? You may use the Leon County Sheriff's Office Citizen Online Reporting System to report lost or stolen property, vandalism, identity theft, failure to return leased property, shoplifting, cyberstalking, and more. Go to www.leoncountyso.com, highlight Citizen Center, and click Online Crime Reporting. Scroll down to read and determine if online report filing is appropriate for your incident. If your incident is appropriate to file a report, scroll to the bottom of the web page and click Select Incident. There are several different incident types that can be entered using the internet. Please select one from the list below and continue. Remember, if this is an emergency, please call 911.
On this episode of Deputy on Duty, we highlight a remarkable display of community spirit and commitment to engagement during LCSO's community cleanup that left a lasting impact on both the environment and the hearts of those involved. This event, aligning seamlessly with LCSO's declared Year of Engagement, saw dozens of volunteers come together to clean up the stretch of Pensacola Street from White Drive to Appleyard Drive. The area is not far from the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
The turnout absolutely exceeded expectations. If I had to estimate, I'd say we probably had over 100 people out here throughout the morning, and that's just for the first 2 hours of today.
Erin Tupper is LCSO's administrative manager. She works closely with LCSO's Homeless Street Outreach team and organized this event with the hopes of shedding light on homeless issues within the community.
The amount of people that are living outside, and then subsequently the amount of trash that gets out in the community that we need to get out and pick up.
The Kearney Center, Tallahassee's largest shelter for those experiencing homelessness, is also a neighbor in the area and operates around the clock to provide services. The debris and litter along this stretch of road is mostly attributed to the loitering in the area. While the cleanup may disrupt their environment, it's also meant to steer them to other resources.
Their safety inside the Kearney Center. And living out on the streets is just, from a health standpoint to a 911 service, they just limit themselves from getting the necessary attention that they need in living in the streets.
One of the key community partners in this endeavor was Junk Shot. They took on the task of helping to load, haul, and dispose of all the collected trash. On this day, more than 3,100 pounds was collected.
Our goal is to make the community better. We pride ourselves in being a green company, whether it be recycling, donating, or simply just cleaning up the properties like that.
Encouraging other businesses and residents to follow suit and take charge to initiate change, Presser issued a challenge to others.
Whether it's be, hey, you have a dump truck like ours. I mean, not every company, there are a few here. We're not the only one. But you can also just join together. I mean, Pensacola Street, there's trash. I mean, hey, maybe right in front of the properties that are in Pensacola Street, you can pick up the trash around your property. That would be my challenge. Reach out and try to build a community.
And with nearly 100 volunteers coming out, it's a proud moment for LCSO's host unit and overall for the entire agency.
Good, because a lot of times, you know, there's about, I don't know, maybe 10 outreach workers, you know, through the giving week that are out with us, but when the community comes together like this to help on that portion is huge.
Good. This is the embodiment of the all-in movement. To see all of us working together to make a difference, to make Leon County safer and cleaner. All in.
The Leon County Sheriff's Office encourages residents to stay connected and informed by following them on social media and visiting their website, leoncountysO.com, for updates on future events. Together, the community is not just cleaning up streets, but forging bonds that will build a cleaner, sustainable, and more connected future. For Leon County Today, I'm Angela Sherrod.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
When I left the academy, my training never stopped.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
You can make a lot of money at a very young age.
Starting pay is $50,000 a year with amazing benefits.
Firearms, taser, driving training.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
They're going to sponsor you through the academy and pay you while you're there.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountysO.com.
In today's society, kindness can sometimes feel hard to find.
Like a purple unicorn.
Cyberbullies hide behind keyboards.
Road rage can accelerate quickly.
And gun violence
has taken our loved ones.
But we can all work to tip the scales of kindness.
Put down the weapons and think before you act.
Pay for someone else's order at the drive-thru.
Offer to pick up groceries for an elderly person.
Or just write a kind note and pass it on.
Find ways to spread kindness.
Spread kindness.
Spread kindness.
Difunde amabilidad.
Spread kindness.
So let's go all in
and spread kindness.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. You can also see who's been booked at the Leon County Detention Facility and follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil and Sheriff of the Community Cleanup. It was so great to see not just LCSO members, but members from all over our community coming to help clean up.
Oh, I was so impressed, quite honestly. I drove back to the sheriff's office on that Saturday morning, and I was in uniform, so I had another place to be, but to see so many people out, I mean, there were FSU, FAMU students, we had legislative persons there. Yes. Allison Tent was there and her son and family. Just a tremendous outpouring of support on Pensacola Street. I know we have some issues in terms of the homeless persons in that community, but to see this community come together, we talk about being all in. That was the epitome of being all in.
It really was indeed. And speaking of being all in, I'm so excited about this basketball tournament. You know, we're really engaging the youth out there that really need us to wrap our arms around them. They're going to get medals when they win and cash prizes, and it's an opportunity for our law enforcement to interact.
Absolutely. For citizens and young people to see us outside of the uniform, to know that we're human beings just like everybody else, and also to have the opportunity to have an ongoing relationship with some of these young men. Yes. That's the goal. One of the goals is to we identify who these youth are, we offer ourselves to them, and then hopefully there's a connection that lasts hopefully for a lifetime between a sheriff's deputy or law enforcement from other agencies and those young persons. We talk about having mentors. This is a tremendously important way to gain that mentorship between Leon County Sheriff's Office and the young people in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, this is happening the second Saturday in April, and we invite everyone to come out. And those sponsorships too, businesses, we want you to be all in and purchase a sponsorship as well, so that we can give it back to the community.
Absolutely.
Another great opportunity.
Absolutely. Please, if you're out there listening today, if you want to be engaged in turning the crime rate around, this is one of the ways to do it.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff. And thanks, everybody, for joining us for another episode. We will see you back here next week.